time for another Medicine Monday, where the aim is to educate, empower and equip you with the knowledge that you need to live your healthiest life. Today we're talking all about cholesterol. So cholesterol, you've probably heard a lot about it, seen it talked about maybe on the media, in the news. You've probably heard your doctor mention it to you, and also see it in the supermarkets. There's lots of products out there that are advertising low cholesterol. But let me explain what cholesterol actually is. Cholesterol is a fatty substance that lives inside our body. We need it to make sure we have functioning cells, but like with everything, it's all about having it in the right proportions and using it in moderation. Now, having high cholesterol, especially the bad type of cholesterol, because there is a difference, there is a good cholesterol and a bad cholesterol, but having too much cholesterol means that this fatty substance can start to build up in our vessels that go around our body. When this fatty substance builds up, it can lead to blockages in our vessels, and what that can ultimately lead to are some really scary things happening. Those include heart attacks, strokes, and circulation problems throughout the body. Now, there are ways though that we can stop this from happening, and we can take control of our cholesterol levels. Because really we want to have a healthy amount, we want it to be nice and low, and we want to have the good kind circulating all around. When people talk about cholesterol, they often make it really complicated, and there's lots of different abbreviations and words that get bandied around. You might have heard HDL or LDL, non-LDL, triglycerides, lipids, etc., but really it's just a load of noise. Me as a doctor, yes, I need to understand them a lot more, but these videos are all about making things practical and using language that is something that you can understand, so that you can get the knowledge that you need and make the change that you have to make sure that you're as healthy as you can be. So today I'm not going to be using those really big words or these abbreviations that you don't understand. I'm trying to make this as accessible to you as possible. And the main thing that you need to take away with you from this video is that what you put into your mouth, what's in your diet, is linked directly to what your cholesterol levels are. And by improving what you consume, you can reduce your risk to a really high extent of having heart attack, stroke, these life-altering diagnoses and events that people experience. So not only are diet changes important, I'm going to go into much more detail in just a moment, but also other things that increase your cholesterol and lead to high cholesterol levels are lack of exercise, being overweight, smoking, and having excessive amounts of alcohol. I know you're going to notice a pattern in so many of my videos. I talk about these same lifestyle changes, but these behaviours, these negative behaviours, they really lead to so many health concerns that I'm going to say it again and again and again. I know that more conditions are going to come up where I'm telling you the same lifestyle things to try and improve or change. But really today we need to concentrate on diet. Now, like I said, cholesterol is a fatty substance that's in your body. So the kinds of fats that we consume will affect our cholesterol levels. Now, I didn't want to mention before a lot of different big words that just aren't that relevant to a lot of people, but there are some words that you need to know and understand, because it really affects the kind of food that you're buying, and it helps you to know what things you're looking for. The types of fat that we consume, there are good fats and there are bad fats. And the good fats that we consume are something called unsaturated fats. Unsaturated fats decrease our cholesterol. Along with unsaturated fats are saturated fats, and these ones increase our cholesterol. And then there are other types of bad fats called trans fats and hydrogenated fats. Now those four words, saturated, unsaturated, hydrogenated, and trans fats, are really important to remember, because when you're looking at the products that you're buying from the supermarket or from the market or wherever you go to go and get your foods, you will see on them that they list these different words and they tell you what percentage or quantity there are of these different types of fats. And if you can understand the labelling, you can make better choices. So first of all, let's start off with the foods that can cause your cholesterol to be higher, the bad types of fats. The first one is saturated fats. We find these in lots of different products. We find them in butter, lard, ghee. It's also found in sausages and meat pies, those very fatty kinds of meats. And also you can find it in cheese and cream and other heavy types of dairy products as well. The other types of bad fats are trans fats and also hydrogenated fats. These are found in processed foods, things like cakes and biscuits and packaged foods. And so it's really important to avoid these like the plague because they increase the bad type of cholesterol. But what things you can do in your diet to improve your cholesterol levels and to reduce it down to a healthy place is to have these unsaturated fats. These are found in things such as oily fish like mackerel and salmon, also found in nuts and seeds, and it's really important to have nuts and seeds in your diet. And I don't mean roasted nuts with lots of salt on them or honey roasted or anything like that, but raw nuts and seeds are excellent, and actually they're really tasty as well. In addition, other places you can find good fats is in a very popular food at the moment, avocados. They're great for finding good fats as well. Another area of your diet that you can increase the amount of food types like this are foods that are high in fibre. Fibre is very good at giving you, good heart health, but it also helps to reduce your cholesterol. You can find fibre in fruits and vegetables, so having as much as that as possible, but also in whole grain foods, whether that's whole grain rice and pasta and bread, choosing those over white bread or things that have been broken down and processed more. Also, oats are a really good place to find these to find a lot of fibre, and there's a lot of grains like that, so oats and using bulgur wheat and quinoa, they're all very fibrous foods, and adding those into your diet gives you a lot of variety, and they're really tasty, but also can reduce your cholesterol as well. Not only is it important to look at the kind of food that you're having, you also need to think about the way in which you're cooking it as well. If you're frying your food and roasting your food, there's a lot of fat that is put into the food by doing it that way. Ways of cooking that can reduce your cholesterol and that are healthy include grilling, steaming, poaching and baking. So the more you can do of that, the better. Now, all those changes I've just described, you should be doing, whether you know what your cholesterol is like anyway. Even if your cholesterol is excellent, I still want you to avoid saturated, hydrogenated and trans fats like the plague. And having, good fibre in your diet and cooking your meals in a healthy way are really important. But, having high cholesterol, you don't actually get any symptoms from that until your cholesterol's gotten to a point where you've had one of those really scary events, a heart attack or a stroke. You don't often know unless you actually take some time, be intentional and find out what your cholesterol number is. And the only way to do that is by getting a blood test done. Now, not everybody needs to go right now and get a cholesterol test done. I haven't had one. And the reason for that is because I'm not one of those high risk groups or where I really need to be finding out my number right now. But when should your cholesterol level be done? If you are over the age of 40, if you have a family history of any kind of heart disease, or if you've had sudden cardiac death, so someone that's had a sudden heart attack at a young age in your family, you're someone that should get your cholesterol checked, as sometimes high cholesterol can run in the family. If you've got other conditions such as a raised blood pressure or you've got diabetes, those are times to make sure you're getting your cholesterol checked as well. Now, the blood test for your cholesterol, it needs to be a fasted one for it to be as accurate as possible. And so have nothing to eat after dinner from midnight and try and get it done first thing in the morning to get the best reading. Now, once you've had your cholesterol checked and say it comes back as being high, there are a few different options for what treatment happens next. Now, the way in which we decide whether somebody needs more treatment compared to another is all about what your risk is. Are you quite high risk for having one of those scary events such as a heart attack or a stroke? Or are you quite low risk? And the way that we find this out is by doing a simple calculation. Most doctors on their computer systems, they have access to this database where they can put in lots of different information about you. That includes your age, your weight, your height. It includes things about your family history, also what other conditions you have, what your cholesterol level is, also your ethnicity goes in there too, as some ethnicities have a high risk of having, heart and vessel problems. And all of those things get inputted into this database, and it comes out with a number, and this number tells us what your risk is over the next 10 years of having a heart attack or stroke or some kind of vessel disease. Now, the way in which the number that it gives us, it basically says if there were 100 people with the same risk factors, the same lifestyle as you, and we looked at them over 10 years, it tells us how many people out of those 100 people would go on to have one of those scary events. And what we call high risk is somebody that has a number that is higher than 10. If your risk is higher than 10 after doing this calculation, your doctor may suggest to you for having some tablet or medication treatment to lower your cholesterol. Now, even if that is suggested, your lifestyle changes still have to happen. The tablet will not be enough by itself. Now, so some people will be given the option of tablets, but sometimes if the cholesterol's high, but your risk is still relatively low, then a trial of lifestyle changes is usually suggested. And that might be over a period of 6 months or 12 months. And that's really for you to try and exercise more, cut down smoking, cut down the alcohol if you're having too much of it, and change the diet in the ways that I spoke about earlier. Now, it's hard, having a stricter diet. It's hard having healthier things if it's something that you're not already used to. And there's a lot of people that struggle with it or aren't willing to make those changes. If that's the case, then usually a tablet is then the best option, because if the lifestyle changes aren't going to be done, or say your risk is too high even despite that because of the other conditions that you have or the family history, often medication is required. And usually the first medication that is suggested is something called a statin. Now, once a statin is started, it usually is a tablet that stays on lifelong, and it reduces your risk of having those events over the next 10 years. As you're getting more elderly, so someone's over 80 or 90, that's the point where I would say, is there much point of still adding more tablets which come with side effects to it? And I'd think about reducing them. So if you yourself are in that age bracket, or you're thinking about your parents or your grandparents, they're quite elderly and they're still on a statin, maybe talk to your doctor about reducing that down or cutting it out completely. But anyway, in general, it is usually a lifelong medication. And because it is such a big commitment, it's really important to understand what the side effects are and risks that are associated with it. Any medication that you get, I really encourage you to actually have a read of the paperwork that comes with it so you can see what the side effects are and discuss it at length with your doctor. Some of the side effects with statins include headaches, diarrhea, sometimes people complain of muscle cramps when they're on these tablets. Those are more common ones, but those are usually quite mild symptoms. But some people do, in addition, complain of having muscle damage. That is very rare to happen, and it can lead to kidney injury. And if you start having any problems with your muscles and pains like that, it's really important you go and see your doctor. So with statins, as they are a lifelong medication, it's really important not to take that decision lightly. All medication that we take comes with its own side effects and risks that are associated with it. So make sure you sit down and talk with your doctor about whether a statin is the right choice of treatment for you. And I implore you, whenever you do start a new medication, to actually take some time to read through the leaflet that comes with it so that you've got some information yourself as well. Now, statins don't work for everybody, and there are alternative medication as well, but really that's on a person-to-person case, and it's something that should be discussed with your own personal doctor. Now, I hope this video was helpful. We've spoken about what cholesterol is, and really I've tried to give you the information that you need and encourage you to have a look at your diet. And when you go shopping, take some time to have a look at the labels and see what you're actually putting into your body. If you're over 40, if you're at high risk of having high cholesterol because of your family or your personal history, go to your doctor, make an appointment today to get a blood test done and find out what that number is. I hope that helped. Any other things that you have questions about, topics that you really want me to answer or to talk about, just leave them down below. And thank you so much to everyone supporting my channel this far. It's really been so overwhelming and so lovely to see. So until next time.